Donnie and Dolly, the team is supported by ableauctions.ca. Closing your business? We can help.
Okay, it is Wednesday. Our guests today are brought to you by the Alberni Power and Marine RPM Group, located in Port Alberni. Alberni Power and Marine is one of Vancouver Island's most trusted boat dealership. Forget Vancouver Island, all over Canada. The largest Mercury Marine dealership in our country. Their service team just won for the fourth straight year a CSI Customer Satisfaction Index score above the national average. Make your appointment today for the 2022 boating season at albernipowermarine.com. Just before we get to Jeff Paterson, this is from Drew in Chilliwack. Did you know, guys, that 53 years ago today, Phil Esposito was the first NHL player, became the first NHL player to score 100 points in a season. He's a huge hockey fan, is Drew, and he loves trivia. Thanks so much for that, Drew. It's the second day in a row we've mentioned Phil Esposito. Yesterday we showed his hockey card, a hockey card that showed him wearing dress pants and Fred Stanfield's gloves. So
and a different number, because I always remember Phil as 77.
Well, he was 7 in Boston.
7. Not
right,
77.
Which is retired. Yeah, 77 in New York. Although
yes, I remember
when
77.
he first got traded to the Rangers, he was, I believe, 12 and 5, and then eventually he came up with 77 because Rod Gilbert had number 7 in New York. Again, Ryan is rolling his eyes because I could go on about this stuff for a long, long time. Here's somebody else that can do that from the Rink Wide podcast at Sekeres and Price. Jeff Paterson, Canucks, visiting the Islanders tomorrow. How are you, Jeff?
Well, I'm a little deflated after listening to Rick say that he doesn't listen to podcasts at all. Rick, it's remarkably easy.
It's not. I'm not going to.
No, you sign up, and the podcast is magically delivered to your phone. You hit play, and away. There's like a world out there just awaiting your discovery.
Oh, if there's a podcast for 80s music, then give it to me. I'll set it up.
You know what there's a podcast for? This show. So you might want to check it out.
If I'm on this show and I can watch it at home, why the heck am I going to listen to it in a podcast form, for crying out loud?
Jeff, we could go on and on about this. We're not going to convince this guy to listen to a podcast.
I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it.
I always remember, Jeff, you talking about, and the Canucks are in the New York area right now, you talking about how great it is to hang out in New York for several days, sometimes even a week when the Canucks are there. What do you miss most about when you were traveling with the Canucks and hanging out in the Big Apple?
Yeah, well, I'm disappointed on this trip because I won't get a chance to see the newest rink or one of the newest rinks in the National Hockey League. The Canucks are practicing there right now. They'll play the Islanders there tomorrow, along with Climate Pledge in Seattle. Those are two rinks that I haven't been to. I love New York City. Absolutely can't get enough of it. And I have to say, my first year traveling, the Canucks, it was a road trip like this one. It was a longer trip. I think it started in Philadelphia and Pittsburgh, and it ended in Nashville. But they played the 3 New York area teams and had a day off between. So it was 6 days in the Big Apple, 6 days in the same hotel room. I didn't have to pack up and move my stuff. It was incredible on the company dime to get a week in New York City. So when I saw the schedule came out and it was the same situation, the back-to-backs, Madison Square, New Jersey, and then 2 full days off essentially to explore. And I feel like I've been in New York, I think 6 or 8 times, and barely feel like I've scratched the surface on that city. So, a little disappointed that they're there. I'm not, but I'm delighted to be here with you guys right now.
We complain a lot about this business, but every once in a while, the travel, I'm the same way. Jeff, I got to spend a week or on 2 different occasions in New York, and it was something special. Okay. With Monday in Jersey in mind, Jeff, and I know we have an opinion on this, can the Canucks depend on Yaroslav Halak these days?
Yeah, I don't know what to make of their goaltending situation, to be perfectly honest with you. We know that Thatcher Demko has 23 of the 26 wins. They're the only team in the league that has a goalie with 20-plus wins and nobody else with more than 2. Nashville is close. UC Saros, I think, has 25 wins, and David Rittich has 4. But the Canucks are a little bit of an outlier in just how much they lean on their number one guy to deliver victories. And now it's back-to-back starts in which Halak has been given the hook. The Canucks don't have back-to-back games till the trade deadline, essentially. So 3 weeks here. I think it's pretty clear that it's Thatcher Demko's net, and we probably won't have to worry and wonder about Jaro Halak, but they do still have 5 sets of back-to-backs on the season. And Thatcher Demko, as good as he is, he's not going to play every game. He can't play every game. So I do wonder, like, do you turn back to Halak at some point? I guess by the time they have to make that decision, we'll have a better sense of where they are in this pursuit of a playoff spot, where they are in the minds of this management group, if they pulled the trigger on any trades. But again, with 5 sets of back-to-backs, you have to think that there are at least 5 games remaining for a backup goaltender. We know that Spencer Martin put in a nice performance and left the Canucks with something to think about. After the trade deadline, you can expand your roster. You still have to be compliant with the salary cap, but might they carry 3 goaltenders? Will we see Spencer Martin again? I just don't know if they have any confidence in Jaro Halak. When you hear Bruce Boudreau talking about him the other night, looked like a beaten man, and he did on that 6th goal, but the 4th one was the backbreaker. That's when I would have had the hook out. The Canucks did well to get the goal they were looking for to start the second period. It's 3-1. There's lots of time. They're scoring lots of goals. Jersey generally gives up lots of goals. And that was such a deflating goal in the moment, the way it went in, just no resistance from a goaltender. Halak, he had to make a better play on that goal in that moment. And I know Quinn Hughes got beat wide to the outside, but the last line of defense, you're an NHL goaltender. They needed you to make a stop, and he didn't. And I think I would have the hook out there. And once it got to 6-1 and the game's out of reach, the Canucks weren't coming back, I think I would have given Thatcher Demko the entire night off at that point. So it's tough to know the level of confidence of the coaching staff, but also the players. Like, they've got to play in front of this guy. They want to trust that he can make a save. He's done it throughout his career, but boy, the last 2 starts, they have been ugly.
Jeff, I will say this. I'm a little concerned about Hoglander and his development right now. After 56 games last year, 27 points, 54 this year, 16 points. And I know we can't base it all on points, but his plus-minus going the wrong way as well. He doesn't have a ton of confidence right now. What's going on there?
Yeah, and it looks like he may be on the outs again here. I see the way that they were skating at practice. He was swapping in and out with Phil DiGiuseppe, who is on the road trip. An extra body was up earlier this season, but caught COVID and didn't get a chance to play. So he's chomping, I'm sure, to get another opportunity in the National Hockey League, and we'll see if Hoglander is, in fact, a healthy scratch. But the numbers aren't pretty. No points in 8 games, 1 point in his last 15, no goals in his last 20 since January 1st in Seattle, and 1 goal. That goal in Seattle, the only goal in the last 36 games. This is the NHL. Best league in the world. There has to be a bottom line. And his underlying numbers are all right. In fact, his underlying numbers are better than they were last year. But there has to be some sort of takeaway. And I am starting to wonder. He's 21, and he just turned 21 in December.
Yeah.
He bypassed the American Hockey League. Last season was under the unique circumstances of, one division, no fans in the stands. In a lot of ways, this is his introduction to the National Hockey League as he travels around and plays every team and sees every building and hostile fans and environments. Look, it's not going his way right now. And I don't think anybody's ever going to knock his hustle, but it kind of feels like Bruce Boudreau is losing his patience with this player. I wonder if it gets to the point that they do send him to Abbotsford at some point. And I don't think there's any shame in a 21-year-old going to the American Hockey League. It's supposed to be a developmental league to help a guy get his confidence back. And if he's only going to play 8 minutes a night or be a healthy scratch, I'd prefer that he become a top-line guy in the American Hockey League, play in every situation, play on the power play, find that groove again. He's a talent, and he is part of what the Canucks are trying to put together here moving forward, but it's just not happening for him right now. And quite frankly, I don't think since they moved the farm team from Utica to Abbotsford that they have used the geographic advantage all that well. So I wonder if it gets to that point. And again, it's okay for Jack Rathbone to be in the American Hockey League. Why wouldn't you consider at the very least putting Nils Hoglander in the American Hockey League to try to pump his confidence back up?
And very quickly, Jeff, 30 seconds or less, where's Brock Besser's game at right now?
Yeah, a little too quiet, quite frankly. I see at practice that he's being reunited with JT Miller, and of course Miller having a terrific season and a point producer, and maybe that'll help. But 5 straight games without a goal for Brock Besser. His only points came in that big win over Calgary when everybody was getting theirs. So, just a little too in and out. There's no middle ground for this group. At the team level, for a lot of individuals, some guys go and other guys go quiet. And right now, Brock Besser has gone a little bit too quiet, 5 without a goal, but we know that he's a goal scorer, and another night is another opportunity for him to break out and playing with JT Miller, hopefully that puts him in a position to succeed.
Jeff, thanks for this. Appreciate it.
All right, guys, and Rick, it's called Rink Wide. It's a podcast. You should check it out.
You guys, I will support you all the time, Jeff, all the time. Not the guy you work with, but you for sure.
Okay. Thanks, Jeff.
All right, guys, thanks.